Yes, it's true. I died. Again. Some people think this is a kid's game. Never mind that now. Today, we're going to talk about magma blocks. So, upgrading my base, right? Over by the skelly spawner, as you can see, I've got some gear back. Again. So, twice in 2 episodes, I've had to spend an awful long time at my skelly spawner. On the way down, it's rather slow. We can solve this. Now, first of all, the first thing that I did was to put Respiration and Aqua Infinity back on my helmet. I did not put Depth Strider on these boots. Instead, I went with Blast Protection. So, back to what we were saying. Going down the water column to get to my Skeleton spider spawner, it's really slow. We can speed it up by putting down a magma block. Because these are all source blocks, they now have bubbles going down, and that'll make it quicker. There's only one problem with magma blocks. If I stand on it, it hurts. And that's annoying. Now, you may know that if you crouch on it, it stops the pain. So, let's try that. We go down, it hurts, we crouch, but unless we hold down crouch, because we're in the water, it pops us straight back out of crouch and hurts again. We can do that, that's really annoying. So, I want to try some things today. My first question is staircases. So, I'm going to need to grab this source block back. If I put a staircase here, you can see there's no bubbles, but then, hang on. If I waterlog these stairs, nothing. I just got to, you got to test. Oh, that's clearly not working. That is a shame. Alright, take the water back. Take that block back. The second thing you may have spotted in my inventory is moss carpet. Oh, no. Water knocks moss carpet off straight away. Oh, no, hang on. That goes there. Come back. You go over here. Hide the light. Right, so I know it's possible to get something to cover it, and that is what I want to do. I'm definitely going to put a magma block down, even if it hurts me every time I go down, because it's just too slow going down the spawner, and I go there far too often. So it's an upgrade that needs to be done. The question is, how do I stop it from hurting me? Now, the obvious solution is to get out a block higher. Like, get out there. There's got to be something here that stops me from sinking any further. Let's try a trapdoor thing. Can you waterlog trapdoors these days? And will that work? We'll need some of these. There they are. Trapdoors. Where would I put it? At the top or the bottom? At the bottom? Oh, was the bubbles then for a second? Or was that just me? No, there's no bubbles. So the only other thing I've got is half slabs, but something tells me half slabs aren't going to work. But maybe there. Or maybe not, I guess. Maybe there. Again, no. Which means some kind of complicated system where it knows that I'm coming down and it allows the magma block to be there until I get to, say, this level here. And once I get to this level, then it pulls the magma block away, replacing it with a normal block, some kind of sticky piston setup. So how would I detect that I'm there? There's ways of doing it. I could do it just by timing the circuit. So when I fall through at the top, it just times how long I've been in the system and then shifts it. That's probably the most sensible way. Which means I need to set up some tripwires, I need to get some string, I need to get some sticky pistons, I need to dig the whole thing out so that I can feed a wall. I'll show you the wall because I've got one nearby. I'm so sorry about the traffic in the background. I honestly wish there was something that I could do about it. Unfortunately, I've got to run around this in order to get back to show you it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to dig out a rather large area so that I can get one of these walls. I'm so lost. One of these walls where there's a sticky piston at the top which changes the shape. It's at the top on that side, maybe. It changes the shape of this wall, which this observer can then spot. It detects whether there's a column in the middle here or not, which is, there it is. You can see the sticky piston holding the piece of wall, which slots in the gap. When that slots in, this middle bit changes. When the middle bit changes, the observer can read it. And that's how you can send a system, send a signal down. Otherwise, it can be quite annoying. I think there's no reason it shouldn't work upwards as well. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be using it to send a signal down, which means I need a space that is approximately 3 wide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 3 space. Somewhere near, and then when I enter, I'll trip a tripwire, which will send a signal through that'll tell the pusher to work and blah, blah, blah. That sounds complicated. Please tell me somebody knows a block that I could just put on top of the magma rather than have to build this massively complicated system. Either way, Minecraft's fun. Yay, we're having fun. Oh, it's raining. Okay, we'll go to bed. Thankfully, I somehow managed to stumble back across the place where the creeper explosion happened within the 5-minute time period, so I got almost all of my stuff back. Unfortunately, my inventory was now absolutely loaded with arrows and torches and snowballs, but luckily I had 2 shulker boxes, so I was able to basically grab the majority of the important stuff, including my wings. Yay! I got them back. Oh god, I was so grateful to the Minecraft gods for allowing me to just stumble across this stuff so quickly. So thank you, Minecraft gods. I owe you one.
Hello, I didn't see you there. I see you're admiring the redstone. It's not as complicated as it looks.
This semi-automatic tree farm is one of my most satisfying builds at the minute. I love this function. Just the way it pops up and then the other side pops down and everything gets collected. I find myself standing here just watching it all get gathered all the time. I do need to automate this chest. Eventually, I'm going to put the filters in to gather the saplings and bring them straight back here. But for now, I just manually collect the saplings from my big silos at the end and then just plant up this side. Setting it up with mycelium this time so that I can then use it to harvest mushrooms, which is another secondary feature that this tree farm has. It's not the most efficient thing, and it does cross over some borders, unfortunately. That does mean that half the trees grow when I'm standing in my base, and the other half of the trees grow when I'm standing in my skelly farm. So it can be sort of a long process waiting for the trees to grow. And I've got no intention of making like an explosive tree farm. I don't really know much about duping blocks. It's not something I'm really very interested in. And it is sort of annoying how many villagers still get stuck in here. I swear I've made this almost completely villager proof, and yet they still find their way in. And I have one of these copper places nearby that's just full of copper that I really want. And I really want these spawners as well. I mean, look at this. I'm harvesting way more from these spawners than I do from the regular ones. So I'm going to have to clear this place out. But as you can see, at the minute, I'm kind of struggling to figure out a good way of doing it. I'm just kind of winging it. Anyway, I did survive this. At least there's no creeper spawners. Actually, I'd love a creeper spawner. What am I talking about? That'd be amazing. And then I finally plucked up the courage to go investigate the new nether, because there's some new stuff here that I've got to find. The problem is you've got to load up new chunks, and I've loaded up quite a lot of my nether, so I had to go pretty far getting some of these mushrooms while I'm here, because it was a fruitless journey up to this point. I swear my entire nether is just this red forest stuff. It's everywhere. It's almost impossible to find anything besides the red forest stuff. I'm not even joking, it's honestly surrounding me. I'm gonna have to travel miles and I mean, it doesn't even make sense to travel in the overworld to open up a new nether, because that's so much further than travelling in the nether. But travelling in the nether is awful, and it's all just this red forest stuff. I'm not joking, it really is. Anyway, it was a long, fruitless journey for a very long time, and it was scary as all hell. I hated it. Honestly, you have no idea how long I searched, but finally I found soul soil. I found the dried ghast. I got 2 of them. I did a little bit of research on the internet, so I knew kind of what to expect. Placed the one. I only wanted to do them one at a time, and then I sat and I watched and I waited. And 20 minutes later, after a bacon sandwich, I was finally greeted by the little baby happy ghast guy who eats snowballs to grow up. Just so you know, it's 10 snowballs to grow him up, so you don't have to wait another 20 minutes. And there he is, happy little guy, yay! So I moved on to the next one. And then finally, another 20 minutes later, the happy ghast emerged. And he flew over to me, just like he knew I was his mummy. Learning from the first one, I leashed it immediately because that was an issue the first time around. Oh, poor little guy. Took me a minute to figure out how to feed him. And then lo and behold, 2 happy guests. And I have some big plans for one of these guys, so stay tuned for that. We're going on a journey. But that is for a future episode, because this one is quite long enough. I better try and clean up. I'm already seeing problems with the happy guest.